Hey everybody, StogieFarts here. Oh, I love this stuff. First off, I'm smoking my StogieFarts 209 pipe by Joe Case. This is an awesome pipe, and inside, an awesome tobacco. Frogmorton Cellar, baby. Probably one of my favorites. If you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you would know that. Today, I actually have another video I'm going to do in my beginner pipe smoking series. Haven't done one of these in a while. I may have already done something similar to this, but this is going to be on rehydrating tobacco. Now, there's many methods that you can use to rehydrate dry tobacco, and this is probably one of the easiest ones, and it requires very little effort. Anybody can do it. So here I have some Frogmorton on the Town, another great tobacco. I was actually going to smoke this, and then I realized it's really dry. Now, the way you can tell tobacco's dry is you feel it, and it's dry. There's no science to it. It's just, it's dry, it's crunchy. So here's what I do. And this, you don't need any separate glass jars or mason jars or anything like that. I actually use it in the same tin that the tobacco's in. And all I use is, in this case, I'm using a cap from I think this was a water bottle. And you need a little piece of paper or something absorbent. Okay, now this is actually, I think this is a coffee filter. Yeah, this was an old coffee filter that I had, and I just crumpled it up in a ball. And here's what you got to do. First, you can use any water, okay, but it's recommended by most people to use distilled water. Now, this whole jug, I think, costs 40-something cents or something at the grocery store. But what I used to do is I used to take water and I'd go over the sink and I would, pour it over my piece of paper. Well, you end up wasting a lot of water. And so now what I do is take the cap off whatever tobacco I'm going to rehydrate and kind of just, push your finger in there and make a little hole. Because what you're going to do is you're going to set the cap in the middle, hopefully you can see that, in the middle of the tobacco. So you don't want the paper, the wet paper on the tobacco. I mean, you could. I used to do that, but you could cause some mold or other issues with, if you have wet paper in direct contact with the tobacco. So what's going to happen is we're going to fill this cap up with water. We're going to set the paper on it. That paper is going to absorb the water and just wick it up. So it's going to use every ounce of water, and then we're going to set that inside the tobacco chamber. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put some distilled water in this cap. Whoa, it's probably a little too much, if you could see that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the paper. Now you can use a napkin, don't use toilet paper, but you can use a napkin, or like I said, this is a coffee filter, and I'm just going to set this on top and let it start to absorb the water. Now you'll see, even though that water was all the way up on the cap, I didn't spill a single drop. This thing just absorbed the heck out of it. So this whole thing is now very wet. You wouldn't want that on your tobacco, but inside this little cup, or this little cap, excuse me, it protects it. So now I'm going to do is just take that with the wet paper or the wet coffee filter, and I'm just going to set it right inside and kind of push it down in there. So if you could see, it's just going to sit right there in the middle, just like that. Okay? And then all you do is cover it up. You want to make it as airtight as possible. And that's it. I will come back to that tomorrow, and it'll be fine. Usually it only takes a day. You can leave it for a week. You can leave it as long as you want. What's going to happen is the moisture from that paper is going to be absorbed by the dry tobacco, and it's going to rehydrate it. So as the paper starts to dry, the tobacco starts to gain that moisture, and this, like I said, it'll be ready tomorrow, but I probably won't, for good measure, I probably won't come back to it for a day or so. Now, if you do come back to it and you feel around in the tobacco and it still feels dry, just shake it up, mix it all up so that anything that's on the bottom that may not have gotten moisture gets mixed to the top, and then repeat the process again. You fill the cap up with water, drop on your little napkin, put it inside the center, seal it up, and leave it be. And it will take care of itself. So this will be perfectly good and ready to smoke, like I said, as soon as tomorrow. And that is how I rehydrate tobacco that is still inside the tins. Alright, if you have any questions, just leave me a comment, contact me, let me know, and I will continue to smoke my pipe, and we'll go from there. Talk to you later.